Trident Wargaming. Build it, paint it, play it. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Trident Wargaming Bolt Action Edition again. I'm your host, Andy, of course, and with me, Jason is back on the podcast. How's it going?
Well, howdy.
If you don't know his classic intro by now, well, now you know. So, yeah, we always have some good fun when we're both on here, just yammering away. Sometimes we say some stupid stuff, but hey, everybody loves it. So
stupid is my middle name.
Oh boy. So welcome to the show. Of course, today we're going to be talking about some bolt action. Just a little bit of things here and there, some new stuff that Warlord Games has brought out. We're also going to go through some of our hobby stuff, their usual hobby front that we talk about, what we're working on, that kind of thing. And also kind of events that are coming and closing, or have closed, I should say. Just our in our local scene here. And of course, we are going to dive into a little bit of a think tank on a mission that I am using or going to be using and or creating for one of our events that are coming up here on October. So stay tuned with us. Hope you guys will enjoy this and whatnot. We have, of course, a whole bunch of projects on the go, finishing up this year for Trident Wargaming. So we'll touch a little bit on that at the end of the episode here. But to kick her off, I guess, let's do some hobby front. I think I know what Jason's working on, but I'll let him go with that.
This just in. Jason has a lot of friggin' painting to do before the October event. I have a lot of Canadians to rock out,
to go through. Yeah,
and I'm not gonna lie, I've been not productive, but what I did do is I got the army list, made my painting list off the army list.
Right on.
And tonight what I'm going to do is probably for my 2-hour painting block will be spent organizing what I have built, making sure I have everything I need, and arranging them and making the plan, and then hitting them with brushes and paints and stuff. That's day 2 and 3 and so on. As we get into the crunch.
Sounds like a solid plan. That's a good way to do it.
Yeah, I've done it willy-nilly before, and it's a disaster.
Mm-hmm.
So I get the list, I make a paint list, basically everything that I need to paint, how many models, and then and also make sure I have all the models assembled that I need, because I've done that. I'm done my army, except for whatever, this piece or that. Geez. So make sure that's all done, and then start pounding away at them. And then I'll go through all of them, and everybody will get, base color, and then boots and skin tone, and rifles, and at least they're painted.
Tabletop ready. Yeah.
Not like that's generous. They're, they have paint on them. And then from there, then you can go through and highlight and do all the tricks yeah, just to get the base color. And yeah, from a tabletop height, honestly, they'll look a lot better than bear if I can't get them all done. At least they'll have the basic necessities. But I think I'm good. I think I'm in good shape if I can get an hour or two a day.
Oh, for sure. That's a good way of doing it. I know I try to do the same thing, get a little bit done each night. Sometimes I take a nap in between, but um, there's other days where I hammer through it in one night. So,
Yeah, I'll just have to neglect my kids to get it done, but sacrifices will be made.
oh boy, that's funny. Yeah, when it comes crunch time, it's that's usually when things get done. Right before an
Yeah,
event. I've
I'm
noticed.
the worst. I am procrastinator king.
Extraordinaire.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Fair enough. Um, at least you're working on miniatures, like painting miniatures. I have not been able to really paint miniatures for a fair bit lately.
Well, you've been killing the
Um,
old scenery front.
yeah, so speaking of that, so still working on the remnants of the terrain for the event. On the weekend there, I was able to finally get the last of the 72 Czech hedgehogs completely built. Um, shoot me now. Um, I ended up getting them built. I got two of the landing craft assembled.
Nice.
Um, I got another three to assemble here. I'm not too concerned because I know yourself. You have one, and Dusty has I think four of them as well. So we'll have plenty for the tables.
Hmm.
They're actually not too bad to build, and slapping some paint on with the airbrush is really easy. So that's not a problem, especially for terrain. Like you don't need to be too detailed. Got the craters primed the other day, so fumes were a little intoxicating on those puppies. But let's just say I was flying that night. Um, yeah. So there's that, and I ended up getting the trenches done. So that was fun all last week. Unfortunately, I got fairly sick last week and ended up having to take 4 days off of work. But luckily enough, I still had the energy to, actually do stuff that I enjoyed at home. So banged out those trenches, and I've shown you some pictures, Jason, and whatnot. Um, I'll put them up for on actually this morning. They'll be up because we'll have a couple posts. So yeah, that's kind of what I've been working on. I've also been like kind of looking at okay, what's my next force? What do I want to get done? What do I need to complete? Kind of thing, right? So that kind of thing, an idea. So yeah,
Sweet.
that's kind of where I've been. Um,
Planes,
I
planes, 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 planes,
Yeah,
planes.
I pulled them out. I've pulled the Blood Red Skies out. So I just got to go through it. I got to sit down one night and just kind of rip through the rules and whatnot, and maybe get some base colors on a plane or something. But
Nice.
yeah, it shouldn't be too bad. It's a nice change because it's such a small skirmish game,
Yeah.
right? So that'll be nice and quick. Um, yeah, and then I just other than that, I kind of just did a little bit of purging of some miniatures as well. So, um, with saying that, but before we go on to this next topic, which would be the upcoming and semi new releases that Warlord Games is coming out with, we have some shout outs to do. So, um, our current patrons, Frederick, Dustin, Chris, and Tyler and Ed, thank you very much for signing up and whatnot for our Patreon. Really appreciate it every time, all the time. Whatever game you're playing, um, it's nice to see guys kind of pitch in and again. Maybe it's a extra paint pot to finish off some terrain, you know, stuff like that, right? So thank you again. Appreciate it. Um, so we also like to thank our sponsor, Battle Bling. Go check out their store. battleblingstore.co.uk. They got some pretty wicked stuff in there. So if you're looking for stuff for Titanicus and whatnot, or even your Marines and all that, check him out. He's got lots of good, funky stuff. So thanks again for your support. And going forward, of course, thanking the stores, thanking the communities. And thanks Warlord Games for putting out such a great game. So, with that said, and again, Warlord Games bringing out a nice new kit. I know I'm very excited for this. I've only been talking about it for the last couple of years.
Sacre bleu!
Yeah, sacre bleu! So they have finally come out with the plastic. That's right, folks. I said plastic. French miniatures. French infantry. They got a couple different sets on their site, which all look like great deals. So this box set of French infantry looks really good. I had the whole collection of the pewters that they made, and they were nice. But being able to take 50 pounds off of my case and put it into 10 pounds.
Yeah. And that's the thing too. It's kind of a horde army, really.
Yeah. It makes
if you're playing it right. So you need a lot of infantry. And even just price wise, like you get a box of 10 pewter infantry for however much it is, or you can get a box of 30 for about the same cost. A little bit more.
Yeah,
for 30.
when I because I think I ended up getting like 6 boxes of their pewter infantry, and then of course the Senegalese, which I realized that they actually didn't make them in this kit for the plastic kit.
Yeah, no. They do have a lot of options, but there's no Senegalese.
No, and they don't. But I mean,
they have colonial troops.
Yeah, exactly.
They have the headgear for colonial troops, equipment and headgear for engineers, fortress troops, chasseurs PA.
Yeah, and then you said the engineers, I think.
Yeah.
So it'll be really nice to see what those miniatures look like. Like I'm actually getting like a whole army set again, so I'll have extra MMGs and all that kind of stuff because I already own them.
Yeah.
So that'll be pretty cool to see. I should have compared them to the other plastic miniature set that I had, but I also got rid of those too. So going full bore with these when they come out for sure. I'll probably end up having to buy another box of infantry when they do come out, just because of the mass horde that I had before is getting replaced.
Yeah.
But the main box army set will come with, mortar MMG, the char, your command, and of course your infantry, the 32 infantry or whatever it comes with. So it's going to be just like the other sets, really well done. They also have a all-in bundle, which is a fairly high price tag, but I believe it's on sale right now. And comes with all that we just mentioned. Also the book. It also brings some cavalry. It brings you some Senegalese, a Panhard, the Samoa S35, the Lorraine 38L, the Lafley S20, my favorite truck, of course. Not. It always gets blown up in my battles. So
yeah.
And then some cool French casualties as well. So If you're really looking to get the full collection, like that is the majority of it. There will be only a few other artillery pieces and stuff that you can grab. So that's one of their main new pre-orders releases that are coming out, which are really awesome. It's good to see that they're doing that, revamping some of their miniature lines.
Yeah.
I really, really, really do like that. I'm hoping sometime in the future, and maybe with, who knows, maybe with Case Blue, maybe the Soviets might get a new set. I don't know. Because I think right now it's the Soviets and the Japanese box sets that are still the place the arms and then the gun in the hands kind of sets.
Yeah.
Right. So, so there's that.
Yeah. Don't tell me that though, because I have so many Soviets.
Do you know who you're talking to?
Yeah. Well, yeah, yeah. But I don't want to be that guy. I don't want
I
to
know.
be you, Andy.
I know. So it's funny because that we're talking about this because they came out with a new American box set, right? Beautiful set. Again, arms and guns are molded together, right? Bill can attest to that. He complete like 360 went to the new sets compared to the old ones that he had originally gotten. And then the British did that as well. And again, beautiful. So, in saying that, as I was going through my miniatures, I come to realize that I have some of these old sets and I have like a lot of those infantry sets. Right?
I have so many Americans.
So like
So many.
yeah, I think I have like I don't know, like 50 or 60 of each, the British. So I had mentioned this to you before, just haven't gotten around to it, and it would have to be a fairly large project to do and try to do it quick, maybe in just like contrast colors or something like that. But these older kits are good for possibly converting, possibly using them for dioramas or whatever. Well, I just made 2 D-Day boards. And I think I have about 100 miniatures there that I can use as casualties on the board if I wanted to.
Yeah.
Right? Make it really look like it's actually happening, that kind of thing. Put that little extra in there or make little plates that, you can put that stuff in there, right? So, yeah, so super excited for that stuff to come out. They're also there's a cool one that they have. It's the Soldier of Fortune, the SAS hero, which I'm sure people are, really wanting to get their hands on. But
Oh yeah, they've been releasing one a month, right?
yeah,
For the
so
last couple months.
I think it's Patty Main, I believe it is.
Yeah. If
So
P.S. If you haven't watched the friggin' oh geez Louise, I can't even remember the show, the SAS show
oh
they
yes,
just did on HBO. Watch it for God's sakes.
it's pretty good.
That's all. It's just that's my
Jason's random thought of the episode.
Rogue Heroes. That's the name of it. Go watch it.
Rogue Heroes. Yep.
I mean, I cannot attest to the historical accuracy, but it's an awfully fun,
That
brutal show.
is that the one where they're putting guys through the actual training and then send them actually on courses and or missions?
No, no, no. This is like a drama.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, about the SAS as they're being formed, with guys like Patty Main that's are
Oh,
in it,
okay.
and it's a little bit stylized.
Mm-hmm.
Like it really brought a feeling of the Peaky Blinders a little bit,
Oh, okay.
uh, just to how the story was told and how it was kind of shown.
Right.
But good fun. Anyway, random. If you do, P.S. If you watch this show, be prepared to want to buy a bunch of SAS models because I did. I didn't. I held off. I managed to not do that, but
Not yet. Yeah.
well, probably not yet. Let's be honest. Yeah, I'll get there eventually. But right now, it's planes, 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 planes. That's what's got my.
Nice. Very good.
Anyway, watch the
Another
show.
another aspect of bolt action, right? So, which is awesome. We'll get there. We'll get a few more episodes of that stuff in once we sit down and go through a whole bunch of stuff for the campaign that we're going to be jumping into. So that's pretty awesome. And then after that, which is pretty neat as well, is the new plastic Panzer IV
Yeah,
BCD, and then they also have a Zug for it as well. So nice set that you can get. So that's cool. I mean, I have the resin one that came with the Blitzkrieg um, starter set. So
yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if you start getting some repacks of the starter sets and that's in it. So which is great to see them tackle as well. So kit looks really good. Uh, early war kind of thing. Use that, you know, and of course throughout the whole war as
yeah,
well.
yeah. They're a great little tank.
Oh yes,
Little, they're not little. They made a gajillion of them. But
yeah,
if you're a German player, it's one of the. I mean, unless you're a hyper specific period, but if you're a generic German, they're a fun kit to have. Uh, certainly if you're early war guy, you're going to want to
mm-hmm.
throw one in. And in the early war, they are primo.
They're pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not bad.
So great tank. And speaking of tanks, and speaking of early war, that kind of stuff. Just kind of we're going to touch base a little bit on like upcoming events. The bolt action slow grow here at Red Claw Gaming in the Edmonton area has just finished. So that was a great success. It was good to see players getting their armies painted. There was a lot of prizes to give out, as Jason knows, as I bombarded him with text messages all over the weekend. Um, but yeah, it was great to see the community came together. We had about 20 players sign up. Majority of them had continued to take part in the event. Of course, like all other, leagues and whatnot, some people kind of go another path. But for 8 months, did pretty good. I think there was 5 or 6 people who got fully painted a 1250 army. So that was
Yeah,
awesome to see. Um, that was great to actually see happen. And now there's more people with finished armies. The whole goal was to get people with armies all done up, and then of course going on to the next event, which is this month on the 21st, is to have armies painted for an event, for like a tournament slash event kind of thing. Not so much a tournament. I usually don't do those with bolt action too much. Um, so yeah. So speaking of that, you know, awesome job, everybody. It's great to see.
yeah,
I'm sure it will happen again. Down the road. There's always new players coming in. You know, but having armies painted up, especially for like an event that I'm hosting, and Jason will be helping out and playing in it as well. Is the Trident Wargaming Storm the Beach event based on a D-Day setting.
whoop whoop.
So yeah, that'll be fun. Been putting in a lot of work on the tables, of course, and also doing missions and whatnot too. So that's coming up, and then I have plans and or ideas for the new year. um, I was thinking about doing a tank war league. to spice it up a little bit. Now, as for what era to start in, still got to plan that. But early war would be pretty cool to do.
Yeah.
Right.
All the tanks are terrible and cheap compared to like late war. So
yeah, exactly.
yeah.
So
See,
it'd be something like that, you know. I mean, I'd have to kind of do some surveys on where people are sitting at for what they got, kind of thing. But I don't know. I think because we've done tank wars events, and I usually dish out like experience to players, right? But even having a league and have it go for like, I don't know, 3 months, you know what I mean? And
sweet.
people can play it and try it out, try the game out, and even evolve from there. So yeah, that's kind of an idea for kind of the beginning of the year, possibly. And of course, there'll be more events too. But
Sweet.
yeah, so there's that, and yeah, next I think next year, 2024, will be just ideas of for events of to start off what theater to start working on. You know, um, I'm really looking at possibly Pacific. So
Mm.
do some Pacific and get some other tables, possibly another 2 tables built, maybe 3 throughout the year.
So I'm kind of feeling like I got to lean into Soviet with the new book coming out
Mm-hmm.
and wrap up. I have a lot of work in progress on some Stalingrad
Who doesn't
terrain,
have work on
and
progress?
oh my god, my life is work in
You see this
progress.
back here on YouTube? Like if you're watching on YouTube, you see that?
Yeah,
Like that's a greater unclean one right there. Like he's like cheering me on, get shit done. You know? um yeah, no, so it's one of those ideas. I mean that might be something later on in the year because I'll need time to build up on it, right?
yeah.
Um
I'm down for Pacific because I also have nothing for it, and my son, I got him a Japanese army, Elias. So
nice.
he's going to want to lean in with some, you know, themed games when we play. We kind of like to try to theme it,
Yeah.
the table, and then we have a little backstory as to what the battle is about and why they're there, and he gets right into all that. So I'm sure he'll be mad at me if we're playing in a French village with his Japanese versus my obviously like Canadians, you know, D-Day Canadians or something. So I'll have to do up. I'm kind of going between U.S. Marines because I own a force of them, so that probably makes sense. Or
I didn't
going,
realize you had Marines.
yeah, I have a bunch.
Nice. So
Can't
do I.
remember when I got them, but I got them. And then, or it's kind of like maybe Australian or
Oh,
Indian.
okay. Yeah.
It's something I don't see too often
Yeah.
around here. So
But that's the thing like I was getting at is we've done a lot of, you know, Western Europe. We've done a lot of, you know, Soviet Russia, you know, the Eastern Front. It's always kind of around there, right? And then locally, you know, not only with us but also in Calgary as well. Dana, you know, has kind of done Africa, Mediterranean a little bit. You know what I mean?
sweet,
Um,
yeah.
so and that was another one too. Like Italy, Italy was kind of another theater that I was kind of looking at too. You know, especially with having some different countries in and around the area. Case Blue, of course, coming out. You know, I would probably like to work on Hungarians at some point
Yeah,
as
you do
well.
have Hungarians, yeah.
So
Well,
But
work on your Hungarians with Case Blue.
yeah, exactly. So, so there's those kind of ideas, and like you're saying, you have those projects that are kind of just um, sitting there, kind of partially done, but not, or ready to go, and
Yeah.
I have it's the same thing. Like when I bought my Japanese, I started building and whatnot, and then stalled on them and just put them in containers and stored them, and I haven't touched them since. Right, so same thing with the U.S. Marines. Did the same thing, right? I
Yeah.
know, and I know right now myself, I have essentially armies that are ready to go. Or they're two German armies, and I would definitely like to get some Allied armies done up. So there is that too, right? So yeah, I guess that's kind of a little bit of a rundown of things to come and what we've been into and working on. Let us know if you guys let us know what you're working on. I'd love to hear that. Maybe show us some pictures on the posts. Get that going. Maybe you've worked on terrain. Maybe you're holding an event yourself. Love to see it. And of course, if you're, close to us, never know, we could reach out and hopefully, or maybe collaborate and get something going. The more the merrier. So
Totally.
I know it's sometimes tough to compete with more mainstream games out there, but the more we show this great game, Bolt Action, out in the stores, in the communities, at the events, the more people it could attract, and having a good amount of players to play with is always a benefit to any system. So yeah, that's that part. It's always good to see, right? It's always good to see new
Yeah.
players. So so speaking of the upcoming event, I've been working on of course the terrain, as I mentioned, but the Brecourt Manor mission. So I had gotten trenches done. I've looked at a few pictures. um, Dusty and Jason are polite enough to lend me out their trees, because I just won't have time to make my own. But that will be something to keep working on, of course. Um, but as for the mission, I'm still kind of working on that a little bit. So essentially, this mission, your goal is to spike the guns in this mission, and the idea behind it is more of just it's not so much like the historical units that are there, but more of a battle between two players. And this is going to be your mission, just to give it that feel of what had to be done there.
Sweet.
So I had originally I had two styles of deployment. Now I'll kind of explain it, I guess. One of them would be your normal Dawn of War, right? So long table edges. Your units would come on from there in two waves, and then of course you would go at it. And the whole objective is the Allies are there to try take out the four guns, and of course the Germans are trying there to prevent that. And then there's these little secret missions that could kind of happen, where for the Allies side, every time you get into one of the larger gun trench, you get a chance to roll, and you find some secret orders, and that would be worth extra victory points in the end. And then the Germans would have some landing orders or glider landing orders every time they would end up taking out a unit of allies. So, and these are just extra little points in the game that you won't know as it comes up, but it will help throughout the game if there's a tiebreaker or anything like that, or um, as I'm scoring points as a whole overall the whole day, just for the players, to keep a track of the player points and whatnot for to see where everybody kind of lands, right? So little fun things like that, you know.
Cool.
Um, and I'll go through some of the stuff with it too here, the little rules and stuff that I've kind of worked with. But the second deployment, the Germans will still have a Dawn of War style deployment on the long edge, but or the Axis powers, I should say, and then the Allied powers, they'll actually be deploying on the corners of the table on the opposite side. So it'll come out probably so many inches across, and then you'll have a long length, and same thing on the bottom, because the trench is kind of like an L shape, right, with the gun batteries. So this will allow them to kind of get into these different positions more of on the outskirts.
Okay.
Right. So it was kind of an idea. The third option I had was again Dawn of War, but then I extended out from each corner. It extends out a little further than 12 inches. I think it goes to about maybe 16 or 18 inches, something like that, where you can actually come off that side of the table as well, on the short side, up to that distance. That way you have forces kind of coming around all different sides, right? So so that was kind of a deployment idea. Not 100% sure which one I like best, but I'll be going through, kind of just looking at it, and putting out a table and seeing how it can kind of work, right? So
yeah, that's the ticket. Just give it a whirl, because they all sound good on paper.
Yeah. So so a little bit of map deployment, of course, and then there'll be 2 waves. You'll initially split your army in half. Any armor will come in the second wave, right? But essentially you'll have infantry coming on. The Germans will be able to deploy, or the Axis powers will be able to deploy essentially 4 units in those trenches. And then the Allies will be coming onto the board, essentially. So, and then you'll have a first wave, second wave. I don't like really making the missions with having to roll for reserves, just because it can take so long to do. And then also, you might have one of those bad times with reserves, right? Which I know is part of the game, but I'd rather it just be this ongoing battle happening where you're getting to use all your units. It's just coming on at different times, right?
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. And then I have some special rules that I kind of came up with. Now, you let me know, Jason, if you want to jump in and make a comment on any of these.
No, you got it, buddy. You're killing it.
So essentially, obviously, the trenches, they'll be hard cover. Now, this trench line is actually going to be deployed as close as possible to like a center corridor down the map, right? So is to keep at least some distance where it's not like first turn you're in combat kind of thing. So you'll have hard cover from the trenches. Now, when firing at other enemy units within the trench, so if you're in the trench and they're in the trench and you have a clear sight, there'll be no cover given, except for when like the walls and or supply crates or fuel drums or whatever is in there, um, you know, provides cover, right? Because the trench lines I have they're not straight. There's quite a few angled trenches pieces.
Yeah.
So
Which I think makes sense. If the guys get up into the trench and are shooting down the length of the trench,
yeah,
for sure you shouldn't get the cover of the trench. But if there's other stuff in the way, that just follows the
yeah,
other rules for
yeah. And I
yeah.
have I have the guns that are replaced in those spots, and then my factory set that I have all those crates and whatnot.
Yep.
I'll be putting that stuff in there too to create
Sweet.
that kind of thing. Um, of course, the artillery guns they'll count as heavy cover as well. Um, you won't be able to shoot at them, but it's just the whole purpose is spiking the guns, right? You need to get in there and to do it. So there's that. There is a tree line that does cover the trenches. Now, in normal bolt action, you can call it dense terrain where you can't fire through it, that kind of thing. But in this scenario, I'm counting it as a tree line, and it's going to count as light cover, but it can be shot through. So
Yeah.
treat it, I guess, kind of like, ruins where you can shoot through it, but it's only light cover kind of idea, I guess. So that way, it's your first few turns. I mean, you're going to be able to take pot shots at each other and just kind of get the game going, right?
Yeah, and you want it to be bloody.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just some ideas like that. I also have this one I kind of like. It's it's a different version of prep bombardment. Now, I call it Allied Surprise. I know it sounds like a dessert, right?
Yeah, yeah, it sounds like a casserole.
So my whole idea behind it,
The surprise is spam,
yeah,
by the way.
spam and cigarettes, yeah. So it's there was I can't remember his name, but there was a gent who had also created his own scenario, but he did it more of with the actual individual forces, the airborne and whatnot. But it's a similar idea of what he did, but I kind of did my own. But yeah, Allied Surprise. It's actually a grenade attack. So it's a grenade attack. So on the
With
first,
spam.
yeah, spam, spam. So on the first turn, the allies get to throw grenades to surprise against the defenders of the trenches and the gun pits. So for each unit that's in the gun pits, they'll get to roll, and on a 4+, they'll receive 1 pin.
Okay.
Okay, so it's kind of like a mini version of a prep.
Yeah, it's a weak prep bombardment.
Yeah. So I didn't want it to be devastating in a way, but they're only going to have 4 units in there anyways, essentially. So so that's one of the rules that I kind of came up with, which I thought was fitting. So because the way I'm looking at it is the defenders are in heavy cover. They're going to be firing out at the allies, which are probably only going to get really light cover. So if it does happen this way, then it kind of balances out a little bit.
Yeah.
There's still a chance that it might not happen, but you take the risks. So the defenders, only infantry can be set up in the trenches, of course. Yes, that includes, mortar teams and all that stuff too. Um, they'll have to split their army in half, first wave, second wave, and again, like I said, any tanks will come on the second wave. So that's kind of some of the ones that I came up with. And
Sweet.
yeah, so special rules, kind of deployment. The other thing was essentially how do you spike the guns? Now, your ally force, whatever unit you have, has a chance to spike the guns. So as they get into into the gun pits, um, as long as there's no enemy in the gun pit with them, then they can issue a fire order, and on a 4+, the gun will be destroyed.
Will you get a +1 bonus if you're an engineer unit?
I didn't do it in this one. I just left it at a 4+.
Well, no, that's it. Scenario's ruined, Andy.
Oh boy, here we go.
Do you want a fun fact of Spike the Gun?
Do it.
It's called spiking the gun because what they used to do is take literally a spike, like a nail,
Yeah.
and pound it into the touch hole of a cannon, so that they couldn't ignite the powder inside.
Oh, okay.
So you could drill that out, but it's a difficult job to do back in the day where you had like a little hand drill,
Okay. Yeah.
So it wouldn't permanently destroy the gun, but you could certainly temporarily take it out of action. For that day, it's done anyway.
Yeah.
So there you go.
You think you think that's good though? Like, think I should put the engineer in there?
I don't know. I like giving a reason to have an engineer
Okay.
for their actual job instead of, because lots of people take engineers, but that's because they get usually a flamethrower option, not because they're actually doing engineering stuff.
Yeah. You know what? Let's put that in there. Let's do it. Right? People, players do use engineers and pioneers or whatever. No, that's good.
Yeah, and it might honestly, if I had an engineer unit, probably I brought it because I want a flamethrower,
Yeah.
and if I do that, it would make me think: should I use the unit and run them up the trench with this flamethrower and start flaming, or that +1 that actually increases my odds on the D6 quite significantly? Maybe I'll hold that guy back. So yeah, I think anytime you can introduce for almost no rules, just a really light, easy one to remember, introduce a decision-making point,
Oh, for sure.
and especially a thematic decision-making point, I think you got to go for it.
And that's why Jason's hired.
Yes.
So, no, that's good. It'll be good to see that in action too. So that'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So I guess point wise for the game and whatnot as well. So what I have here for some victory conditions is if the allies obviously knock out all 4 guns, it's going to be an auto victory for them. Plain and simple. Each gun on its own is worth 2 points. Okay. So, and this is where it kind of gets separated for that. So, if the allies, are destroying the guns and they don't destroy them all, that's where they're worth 2 points separately. Axis, if they defend the guns, so however many guns they have left, they'll get 2 points for that. So it's kind of vice versa, except the fact that there is no auto win for the Germans, right? Technically, if the guns are gone, then mission is done, right? So,
But you could say if the Allies failed to destroy any guns.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Actually, that's a good point. Yeah, I can put that down too. So,
because that will also that will to get the auto victory or whatever.
Yeah,
That'll force the Germans to want to spread their forces out a little bit. Because if you say the auto victory is only for the Allies, only if that one condition is met that they destroy all, the logical thing to do is to forget about the other guns because they're only worth 2 points each.
and bunker on one. Yeah, yeah. No, that's true. That's a good point. And again, that is why you're hired.
Yes.
So, so many things on the brain. I cannot completely, think of everything. So, oh yes, and then essentially 1 point per unit destroyed. So, those are not counted towards, like the primary mission. Those are secondaries.
Mhm.
And those are for the overall effect of how the player does in the event. So
Sweet.
yeah, so so that's kind of the victory conditions.
I like it.
Yeah, and probably go to 6 turns and possible 7. So we'll put that there as well. So yeah, that's kind of the idea for that mission. Hopefully it'll be a good one for that. I'll get it all printed out and whatnot, typed out as well, and then so that will take care of 3 of the tables because I already have the mission for the beach landings, as we did an episode on that as well, and then of course there's this one,
Mhm.
and then the other 2 tables I already have one of them done up. It's the Bocage table, of course. That one essentially will be objective based. There'll be objectives that you have to get as well. And then we have a little rundown village. I'll probably do some kind of crossroads thing with that one as well. So make it fun and interesting, fast and furious. No, not Fast and Furious 15 or whatever it's at, but
Fast and Furious here.
so yeah, that's kind of where we're at. What do you think? Think that's good?
Yeah, I think so.
For that mission.
I think so. I think we'll, if we can, give her a game on it.
Yeah, we'll definitely try. I'm hoping to hope to get one in. I know I have a couple of events. I know I have an event that's coming up weekend for Trident as well, so I'll have to. It might be like the week before the actual event. But in saying that, though, even though we do have this event coming up in a couple weeks, I think me and Jason will try to plan it out. Maybe even get Chris out as well. He can help us out, and we'll actually kind of go through the missions, go through these battles that we had for this event, and get some nice pictures for you, and even maybe film a little bit. Just kind of like we did with the D-Day board. And you never know, I might have to slam both of those beach landing boards together one day and
double beach.
Yeah, exactly. Just have a huge beach landing battle.
Nice.
Brawl. So
I like it. There you go.
Yeah.
Battle brawl at the beach.
So
Triple B.
Battle of the beaches, yeah. Probably some guy shows up with his volleyball.
Yeah, exactly.
We're such nerds.
Yeah,
But Yeah, I think that's it for this session. So, any other ideas or comments, Jason, on your part?
I think that's it. I'm drained. That's
Dream.
that's my life force is. I'm
Yeah,
done.
it's diminishing.
Yeah.
So,
No,
uh,
I'm excited for it. I think it'll be fun.
yeah, it'll be great. If you are in the local area and you are interested in getting in, I do have one slot open for an ally force. Please contact me, message me or through Trident as
Do it.
well. I would love for somebody else to get in on this. There is a players pack and everything. Um,
There were
so
some Calgary guys we played last year.
yeah, if they can, it'd be pretty cool for them to come out.
Yeah.
Never know. Might not be too late for that. Otherwise, El Mio will be rolling some dice as well and taking pictures and all that jazz. But yeah, if you are interested, check it out. Otherwise, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode once again. Please let us know in the comments and whatnot what you thought. Is there anything you guys had in mind that you want to maybe check out or ideas on what we talked about? Maybe you agree, disagree on certain things. Let us know. It all helps. It's all fun to converse with each other and just bang some ideas out. So the bolt action community, not only locally but abroad, is really really good. Um, there's very supportive of each other between terrain and armies and questions. So please feel free to hit any of the pages up and even us. I can always get some pretty good answers on things too. So again, hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching and listening, and we will catch you on the battlefield.
See you on the flip side.